Socks. Shush. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's going well today. Alright, let's jump straight into it. We are actually using my NAS today. So this little VM is on my NAS. I've set it up for a couple of reasons. So this is dealing with any sort of Docker changes. So if either I or someone else makes a change and we need to actually test it out, I'm happy to test it into here. It's got 3 parts. So the first part is the NearBeach source code, so we can, get onto a certain branch or get to on main and pull the latest sort of code in. We've got a Docker compose file here, and then we've got the source code for the NearBeach Docker side of things. So what I could do is, in this sort of case, we've got a pull request on here. We are going to change a few of the files on here just to get this testing sort of working and so forth like that, and sort of test it on this VM. Now, one of the reasons why I want it on a VM is so I don't accidentally destroy it, which is the main reason. Because I did have something set up once and I sort of destroyed it, and I'm like, well, I can host this VM on my NAS. I'm not going to destroy the VM if I tag it to be like as part of the dev cycle and stuff like that. Excuse me 2 seconds. What are you wanting, sweetie? Come on. Come on, come here. No, all right, fine, run away. Sorry, that is Socks if you can hear her. So yeah, today we're going to test this. We do want to edit a file. So first we want to build the Docker base, which is this file. And then we want to edit the Docker file to reference the base. So I think we changed this line here, and that should work. And if you can hear Socks, I've been away since yesterday, and she either wants love, attention, or she's angry at me. I don't know. Come here. Come on. Yes, say hi to everyone. All right. Yeah, you can go there. There we go. So the good thing is, I I won't really commit any changes from here. We're just setting up to see if it works. If it doesn't work, we can then send it back to the original author and be like, hey, I had this particular problem. So yeah, let's jump into it. Oh, I've just realized, close that pop-up, I don't have the chat open for Twitch, so hopefully no one's been chatting. I do apologize. So yeah. All right. First things first, what I want to do is I want to cd into the sides. I want to look at the compose file first. So I'm just going to cat the docker compose YAML. I'm just scrolling up to about this section. So we've got something like that, and that's kind of what I want in that text file. So this is the basic doc file. So we're grabbing NearBeach base from the target branch, which is going to be main. I'm going to paste it like that. We're going to go robotic head, NearBeach base local is what I'm going to call it. So we haven't built that yet. And I've just realized we are in ad breaks. All right, for those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch. That's to stop the pre-rolled ads, which absolutely suck. Don't worry, you won't get any ads. We tend to do this so no one misses out on any content. You guys get to see Socks. She's the one that's meowing in the background. So yeah, hopefully everyone's going well today as we sort of play around with the Docker stuff. So yeah. Oh, you can see her ears. There's about 30 seconds left of the ads. All right, there goes Socks. Are you gonna say hello? Say hello. She never voices her opinion when she knows she's on camera. There we go. See, I moved it back and now she's voiced her opinions. We're about 10 seconds left. Okay. Oh, I gotta charge my phone. Forgot about that. Okay, plug that in. Alright, cool. And welcome back, everyone. Sorry, I needed to plug in my phone very quickly. So, going over here, we'll probably create a file called NearBeach base local for that. So, I'm happy with that. If we cd back down into here, NearBeach Docker, we go into here. There's our Docker sort of stuff. If we go on to the Git branch, you see it's on like the cron updates. If I go git checkout main, git set hard. We can do what I did in a few seconds. Git checkout main. I'm just going to git pull the latest just in case. And then what we want to do is, if we go over here, we want to do the GitHub PR checkout 18. So GitHub PR checkout number 18. So this checks out the latest one. Just making sure I don't have my keyboard. There we go. Oh, you're kidding me. I authed this yesterday. GitHub auth login. Let's see if it'll GitHub. So I'm gonna do this on a secret screen very quickly. Gonna retry that again. Start a new session. Socks, you're literally in the way. Press enter to open up GitHub in your browser. There we go. I didn't have the browser open. Bit of a problem. Now I've got a key in the little key. Don't worry about the key before. I lost that because I didn't have this open. Give me a couple of seconds. Always on the top, making sure my keyboard isn't showing. Thank you, Stocks, for being in the way. Oh, I've got to do this thing. All right, give me even more seconds. All right, I am in. Give me a couple more seconds. Will this terminal actually expand open? Yes, it will. I can clear the screen. All right, let's get back into it. So, GitHub, pull request, checkout 18. So there you go. So we should be on Git branch now. We should be, on the cron updates. So that's all done. Just going to minimize that. Let's start editing a few things. So in here, what we wanted to do is I'm just going to resave this. Easy done. Is we're going to build the base first. So if we actually go into the read-only for the NearBeach Docker documentation, the read-only here, we can see that we've got Docker build no cache file, doc file, tag robotic head, and all that kind of stuff. We're going to sort of do the same thing here. So I'm actually going to copy that. I'm going to do a little cheat because I'm going to paste it through, but we're going to edit some of it. So I'm going to do that. We're going to go over here. We are doing that. And then we're going to go all the way back to the Docker build no cache file. And this, what are you eating? Oh, the elephant. This is, oops, if we have a look at this thing, it'll be the docker.base. And the tag will be all of that, and then we'll just go forward like that and go base.local, and I'm just gonna hit enter. Yes, all right. So all of that needed to be in sudo. And I'm just going to put socks on the screen. So this does take a little while to do everything like this, but yeah, we just have to wait through it. All right, slowly getting there. We're now on 6 out of 6 with the instructions. Famous last words, this will probably be the longest one possible, so yep. Almost done, right? Famous last words. All right, I'm going over here. So we're also going to run this again, but without it being edited. That being said, because the Docker file itself should be referencing the NearBeach base local. So yeah, hopefully that will work. Ah, cool. done. So what we're going to do is we're going to paste that in. I do believe that should be all good. I am just going to actually, before I do, sorry, I thought I ignore that. So we've cat this. So yeah, NearBeach. Yep. All right. Cool. Did it again. No socks. All right. And she runs back whenever I move the webcam. Cheeky. No. Come on. Really? Alright. This one will take a little while. I think this one takes a few minutes. So, yeah. Alright. Gonna move over here. Actually, no, I'm gonna hold you for a little longer. She's probably very upset with me for not being here for the last 24 hours. So, yeah. Been left all alone again. All right. One warning found. JSON arguments recommended for command to prevent unintentional behavior related to OS signals in line 23. I'm going to have a quick look at that. I don't have the counting in here. But I will. Okay. Oh no. Didn't save this one. Oh no, that doesn't matter. Alright, cool. Don't worry. I'm going crazy. Alright, let's just disregard that. Let's close all of that. So we should have built something for this locally. So what I want to do is I want to open up our Docker desktop, and I want to sort of delete what's there and rebuild this. Now we're just going to wait for the Docker desktop to pop up. So this is not a strong machine. Let's should have two CPUs, 4. Okay. Dashboard. And then alright, the CPUs haven't been hammered. That's fine. I'm just going to skip this. I don't need any of that. So we have no containers. Sweet. So it doesn't matter what we build. I am going to go CD. We're going to go into the NearBeach compose directory. We are just going to edit the docker compose YAML very, very quickly. Yeah, I need to fix all of that up. All right, so we are using the NearBeach local, which is something we've just built. So if we actually go into here, we should see builds. So we've got a couple of builds in here. So we've got a couple of builds. All right, NearBeach Docker. Got another NearBeach Docker. Created 21 days ago. All right. I'm not going to worry about any of that. So I'm quite happy with a lot of this. I'm just going to quit. And then what I want to do is docker compose up build. No cache. Oh, unknown flag, no cache. All right, cool. Docker compose up, no cache. Unknown flag, no cache. All right, no worry. Docker compose. So now it should be, oh. All right. Daemon failed to resolve, blah, 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 because probably sudo docker compose up was not run. All right, recreated. I should not have done this in the terminal like this. All right, running NearBeach. Okay. Yeah, goodness. Okay. So we go to localhost 8000. There we go. We've got the NearBeach login here. Sweet. And if we go like that, everything should be stopping. We're just now playing the waiting game. All right. So it all stopped. I'm just double checking if. So I'm double checking if chat is. All right. Cool. I think Nightbot's out. All right, there it is. Okay. So we've just done that, and there we go. And then if we open up this, we should be able to see the containers in here. Why isn't it showing my containers? Got my volumes. I don't know. Not a problem. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, cool, I'm just moving on. So if we rerun it again, we should be able to sort of see it come alive very, very quickly. So we do the begin of no variations to apply. So it should rerun everything. And that should be fine. And then if we hit login, boom, we're in. All right, sweet. So to do a release for this, I'll need to actually build the base, but we can do that after the pull request. And then once it's finished, any sort of release will use that base. In which case, it'll have the cron job working again. Hi there, buddy. What's up? You database have 12. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we're just doing a pull request. Essentially, we needed to sort of build this sort of Docker test on our sort of it's a VM. I keep it out here just for separation because I keep deleting them. And it's past everything, so I am probably going to do a release. I don't know if I've got a test account on here. No, I don't. All right, not a problem. And I won't be able to get into, yeah. Not a problem. Not a problem. Because everything should be working. Yeah, and if the other pages work, the forgotten password, yeah, that's fine. All right, so I am going to stop that now. We don't need the VM anymore. I'm just going to close that. That's easy done. We're going to go to the pull request. We're double checking everything in the pull request. So the file's changed. There's just 4. I did check this the other day. So we're doing cron tab to NearBeach. All right, cool. We're using libcabs for that. All right. Cool. Yep. All right. Sorry. Oh, it needs at least one review. Yep, there we go. All right, squash and merge. I'm gonna sneeze, maybe. Maybe not, I don't know. Alright, so that's all done. I'm happy with that. Now, because I've just merged that in, I do want to get the Docker base rebuilt. That's part of the GitHub action. So we just go into here. We go NearBeach Docker, NearBeach base Docker automation, and we can actually just run the workflow. So run workflow. So that will actually build the base for the Docker base that is used for NearBeach. So yeah, that should happen now. There it goes, and it takes about 4 to 6 minutes. So yeah, but we can move on to other tasks in that time. So I'm just going to go to NearBeach track. We're going to see what bugs we can fix tonight. Alright, so I'm just going to go to sites NearBeach. I'm going to do a git pull, make sure we've got the latest code. We're going to probably git checkout develop, git pull that. Now we're going to do a 0.31.90 release tonight. Ooh. We're getting closer and closer to that 100th patch, which is kind of cool. So, click here. All right, cool. So we've got my current issues. We've got about 21 at the moment. We kind of want to focus on the majority first, with the exception any that have been put onto 0.32. So in a couple of cases, normal tables have the required fields and all that kind of stuff. That will actually happen in the new version. So yeah, read-only user has access to the edit schedule task projects. That's one which we should fix. Public information pages, backticks and other escape characters can cause issues. Yes, that's another thing which we've got to sort of fix. Yes, because we're not actually in the data. Alright. Yeah, I can get that all fixed. Alright. Also means that I probably should look at building the API for public tasks. You know, earlier when I was here, I tell you that I get internship now after 1 month. I realize I can work on backend, but it's not good for me. Oh, fair enough, fair enough. You suggest me as a fresher, like if I want to learn something, what should I learn? If you want to move more into the front end, do you have someone at work you can talk to about that? That would be my first sort of port of call. Because the reason being is they might be like, oh yeah, we use this and this and this, and that's something you could learn, and you could be like, oh cool, I wouldn't mind working a little on the front end also. And you can sort of graduate over into front end stuff. But remember, experience is experience. I would, I understand that a lot of people don't like back end, a lot of people don't like front end, and it's opinionated, and that's fine. Alright, so we're going to look at this particular bug. So we are going to open up the read-only user. We're not running localhost. There we go. Yep, I'm on that. npm run. I'm just running npm run watch. We really haven't actually done much. It's just in case I make any code changes, which we will. That opens up there. Source, JavaScript. All right, I know that I'm going to be, all right, cool. That's worked. That's worked. Let's go to localhost. Also, I should mention I've gone backend, frontend, but there's also system administration you could potentially look at. And once again, if there's someone at work you can talk to, that's great, because then you can sort of hopefully move into that sort of direction. I don't know how big the company is and all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming it's a relatively sized company where you can actually move around sideways like that. All right, so we're just gonna bump in as a read-only user. Now in the schedule, we've got scheduled objects. A read-only user should be able to read these. We're not banning a read-only user from scheduled tasks, but they should not be able to update them. So we've got two issues here. We've got an issue on the front end, allowing this user to send stuff to the back end, but we've also got an issue on the back end where it's like, yeah, this user can do this. Doesn't double check that. And I've hit spacebar and I've updated it twice. So our first sort of port of call is, we're going to turn that red. We're going to stop them. So if I go into the network, there should be a scheduled object save. So we'll go NearBeach, we'll go views, we'll go into the scheduled objects. All right, where did I put them? I'm just going to go into the URLs because it's object scheduler view. All right, and I am just going to go into the implementation. So there it is. And yeah, we haven't put permissions on this. Oh. All right, get frequency attribute. Oh, all right. This is bad. It's really bad. I really should have. We should at least have that in there. All right, so the get, two usages. I'm double checking where we're using it. This looks like an internal function, because we're only using it internally here. I like to just flag it to be like, yo, I'm using this internally. This one should be being, I didn't want to go there. This, all right, don't click on the one usage one. This one we should definitely be putting behind a login. Now I haven't done that on the URLs. All right, so user should definitely be logged in. All of these. Yeah, all right. All right, ooh. Doesn't look like this one's called anywhere. This one is. Just double checking. Ah, yeah, yep. Wish we could just click it and have it tell me. So internal functions is the only one that is used. So one usage, one usage. This is not used anywhere. This might be, I might have put it in and it's just never got used. So I'm just getting rid of it like that for the moment. This one should be used. Yep, schedule object information, easy done. We've got the schedule information save. Yep, that's perfect. We have, that's it. All right, cool. So now we've got to have a look at what we can do with this. So read-only users should be able to have access to this. That's fine, because these are scheduled objects. They should be able to have a look at their scheduled objects and have any input about them. It's just they can't edit them whatsoever. So we're not getting rid of this for scheduled users. What we're doing though is not allowing them to save. Sorry, we could not create this Axios network error. All right, we have a network area. Object alert, scheduled objects. Oh, we are using scheduled objects. Okay, so that's why we comment out the code. So comment out the code first, and then make sure you don't destroy your whole entire application. I'm just going to stop and rerun. All right, we do have an ad coming up very, very shortly. Because pre-rolls will be coming off soon. All right. I don't know where this is used. So I'm going to just do that. Oh, it is used there. All right, cool. I don't know when these, there we go. Anyway, I am going to be right back. I do apologize. I just need to go to the bathroom. I'm going to just put socks on the ad time, and yeah, I won't be long. Alright, sorry about that. Okay. We've got about 8 seconds left to go, so I'm going to give Socks a little pat on the head. There we go, and welcome back everyone. We'll leave Socks cam on. I think she's fine there. She's not causing any issues. She will later. Alright, so this has been used in the URLs. Alright, why is this not picking it up being used? I don't know at the moment. No, stay in your bed, sweetie. Oh, God damn it. The camera was on you in the bed. As a fresher, I really feel the impact of AI has significantly affected job opportunities. I've experienced it myself, but I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the AI revolution? I think it is a great tool, however, it is just that, it is a tool. I've come across way too many hallucinations to trust it. I treat it like I would with Wikipedia. It's a great place to start, however, you do need to do your own research and stuff like that. Has it sort of given me ideas of how I can solve a problem? Sure. Has it given me 100% correct code? No. Has it helped me here and there with certain things? Yes. However, have I then sort of worked on those particular things? So I I'm improved, so I don't need to constantly ask it again. Yeah, I do. It's a tool. So. I'm trying to think if I don't know how it will change the world at the moment. So I'm still thinking about the question and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know how it will affect the world. I know it will. It's definitely a very useful tool. And useful tools definitely sort of change stuff. So yeah, but I don't know how at the moment. Alright, getting back into this. So we are sending the data off to save. So we need to actually have a save in here. So it's this particular one. Now, if I do that, and I hit save, it says the object's been updated. Am I on debug mode? No, it didn't. But also at the same time it said it had a problem. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to refresh the page. There we go. No, alright. Am I on the wrong one? So, new object. Alright, I can't read. Object information. Object information save. So we want this one. I'm just going to hit bang. There we go. We're now doing the debug. Okay, going forward. Is form valid and stuff like that. I'm looking at the scheduled object ID and I can see it's a 1. Now from here, and Dick Cherry. Hi, how are you going? Sorry, I am terrible with new names. So yeah, how are you going, Cherry? Hopefully you're going well. Alright, so object ID is 1. We could in here do a permission check and stuff like that. And remember, this will be moving into the API sort of process when we do the 032, because we don't want to have this anymore. We kind of want the API to sort of supersede a lot of this. Oh, you're amazing. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I can't complain. Can't complain at all. I am just solving a bug where we've got a read-only user has the ability to hit save. So yeah, we've got to fix up the backend. We've got to add in permissions and make sure it doesn't happen again. Now, I'm having a look at this and I know instantly that it might be one of those things because we get the update here. And I need to make sure that this particular user has access. Now, it could either be a task or a project. I do kind of want to do this in the decorators, just because then I can use it in multiple different spots. Instead of having just putting in here being like, all right, cool, this is the task. Does the user have access to tasks? Yeah, I need more than that. And we do have the group lists coming through. This can be done in a decorator fairly easily. I do like that idea. And we don't need to bother about its it'll either be a task or a project. We know the field names. We can easily use our trick to pick up the fields without having to have an if statement. Alright, so I'm just thinking, where could I put this? Also, so we'll need it up here. We'll need the scheduled object information. We'll need it with the scheduled objects because we don't want to read-only user to be able to read things they don't have access to. So yeah, it definitely needs to be in a decorator because it can be used in multiple different places. This one is just the search, so it loads up a list of, yep, that's perfectly fine. Now, this one will, if they're a read-only user, they'll need minimum amount. We've already got a decorator for this. But this is the problem. We need to make sure. This is the problem with permissions, is there's always outsiders and permutations and stuff like that. So new scheduled object, we want to make sure that a read-only user doesn't access this unless they've actually got permissions for either task or project. So we'll need another decorator here. Okay, this is... That's fine, that's an internal function. So... this one could be a redirect, because in a sense we're looking at either the task or the project being over-permissioned. Okay. And I don't think that needs to be in a decorator here, because it won't need to be used anywhere else. So, we'll start with this one. Let's grab from here. So this will be, give me a couple of seconds whilst I think this through. I'm just putting O as a placeholder. We're moving the camera so Socks doesn't realize. We're going to do object assignment to objects.filter. And what we want to do is deleted equals false. We also want to have the hang on, do I want to? No, I'm overthinking this. It's going to be a lot simpler than this. It'll probably be part of the user groups, in which case it'll be user group.objects. Yes, with that autofill. Is deleted equals false. So that is correct at the moment. We then need to get the maximum permission set from here. So what I want to do is sorry, it's been a little while. It's not a get. We actually want to filter. Sorry. It's not a get, it's a filter. We want to annotate. We want to have two fields in here. What we want to do is max project permissions equals, and then that will be F. That will be all right. I'm gonna have to look up the Django. Sorry, the Django ORM max. It'll be part of the annotations. So we are going to go into not the forum. I was hoping for the documentation aggregate. All right, cool. So we're searching for Max. Yeah, no, that's all good. So we need to import it from DB models. We're on line 66, so we already are. So going back to 66, what we need to do, max aggregate the max and then the field we want, and the default is going to be 0. All right, sweet. So in here, I'm actually going to open up this so you guys can actually see what I'm doing with real data. There we go, Python 3 and manage. Shell. Okay, from NearBeach dot models, import everything, and then up here we've got, let's say A equals user groups, where we've got the user equals request, user equals 1. Username. I'm double checking on this. User group ID, username. There we go. All right, so username ID 1 straight away. I know this is going to break, so I'm just going to go back to the object scheduler. I'm just going to be like username. Now the request.user should be in the correct format so far, so I'm not going to change that. That's perfectly fine. We're going to go over here, and this will give us a dot objects dot filter. Forgot to do the key important thing. So we've got two options in here for the username of 1. What we could do is, let's go B equals A. We're just nicking the first one. No problem there. There we go. And then if we go B dot permission set, not cert, set. I'm going to do that again. We've got the permission administration permission set in here. And then from there, what I can do is I can go, I think, dot here again. And then I should be able to type in project, and it'll give me a value. So that's my permission value for project. A 4 means I've got full permissions. So the permissions go from 0, you've got no permission, 1 to read only, 2 to edit, 3 to create, and 4 to delete. So they're stacked. So how can I get this value for project and task? Well, easy. Django has this little neat function where I would go, not project, sorry, permission. Max, yeah, hang on. We need to type in the max first. We need to go permission set under project. I'm about 2% sure that will work. So we've got aggregate. Oh, yeah, all right. I don't need the F. Why do I have the F? Should be that. All right, give me a couple of seconds. I'm just gonna, can you tell me which programming language I should learn first? I tend to leave this up to people to discover it for themselves. If you know nothing about programming languages, you can open up what's called the dev tools in your browser, and you can actually start programming right away. So if, let's say, A equals 3, B equals 7, you can go A plus B, like that. That's pretty easy. But otherwise, I tend to tell people, go to a job site. I'm just using Seek as an example. Look up what you want to sort of be, what sort of, like if you want to do game development, if you wanted to do web development, if you wanted to be a server architecture and wanted to bash scripts and stuff like that, go in here, look it up, and I'm just going to go game developer. In here, hit enter. That one says it straight away. C#. So .NET. You could this one have read of the job. You scroll down. .NET web development. I did put game developer in here. I don't know why web development is in there. I mean, I don't know. Game developer, you in here, they've got .NET and so forth like that. If you go in here and go, let's say backend web developer, it will give you something different. This is front end. That will be, I think, React. I think they want. Oh, they're doing Python, AWS, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that will give you a sort of list of what languages you need to actually learn to get the job. If, for example, you don't want to set up environments and stuff like that, you've got like stuff like .NET in browser. You've got play around, runnable. That's it. You got playable environments nowadays, which is kind of cool. So you can actually do something simple in here to sort of learn how to program. So yeah, we recommend FreeCodeCamp as a learning tool. You don't need to sign up. You just hit curriculum at the top right, or menu, sorry, curriculum, and then yeah, you can jump in and so forth like that. So yeah, it depends what you're looking for, is my answer. And yeah, hopefully that helps. All right, in this sort of case, max project permissions, the field permission set .project, we're grabbing the max, and then we're going to go max task permissions, and we're going to go max for the permission set and then the tasks. Yeah, that's okay. Like, what did you want to do? Out of curiosity. Because everyone's different. Some people want a game, some people want a system admin, someone wants to be front-end web developers, some back-end web developers, someone want to make old-school applications on the computer itself, like instead of being in a web browser, and stuff like that. So yeah, what did you want to be? I'm gonna go user group results. I'm just doing that. And then, we'll put the default 0. Oops, we should do it like that. Oh. Easy, done. And then what we want to do, if, hang on, we need to do the values. So we're only going to put out the max project permissions and the max task permissions into here. I don't know what the results will be for this. And what I mean by that is I don't know if I'll get a query set or a one-off. I mean, I can't use the get. So the get will give me a one-off. So if I go user group dot objects dot, I hate when it fills out everything. Get, let's say pk equals 1. I can't go annotate because yeah. And Project Black, how are you? Welcome back. I'm going good, thank you very much. So yeah, I'm healing up next week. You'll probably see me on and off with the sling as I slowly work my way off it, which is good news. So yeah. Request is not defined. All right, let's. Oh, it's at the top. Request. Okay, all right. done something silly. I am just going to comment out that one line. I'm just going to go username equals, let's go 1 for the moment. I'm just copying and pasting. It's just easier to do it here and quicker. Max, from Django.database.models import max. Got it right. All right, be very surprised because that doesn't happen and I constantly have to look it up. So now we've got the user group results. As you see, there is a query set, but it's a query set of 1. And I'm just wondering, we could do something like this, just to grab the first one. Good as well. That's good to hear. Just another fellow Django user dropping in. There she is. Thank you very much. So we now have this, which I'm getting excited. So if we go, let's say A equals that, then we can go A. I keep forgetting if it's .max project permissions. Yeah, no, it's a dict. Max project permissions. Make sure I did that like that. All right, and that's how we're going to get the data. All right, ad break in about 5 minutes on Twitch. Cool, that's good to know. So in this, what we want to do is we want to do a couple of checks. So if the length of the user group results equals nothing, we're going to return return no permissions or redirect to no permissions. I'm just going to put return in there. It's going to be pretty horrible. We'll fix that up in a second. Otherwise, this is where I'm gonna double. Hey, Nocturnal, how are you? So you just missed me playing with my NAS. Yeah, I did all the tests. Yeah, you were right. I just need to redo the build the base, and it just worked perfectly fine. I've merged in that pull request. Thank you very much. So yeah. All right. So I'm just giving a quick think about this. I'm going to put this as user 15. I want to see what actually happens. This is just curiosity. So we're going to put that in. We've got the user group results. We're going to query set of that. Now the thing is, if we do a 0 in here, it's going to be out of range and everything is going to cause problems, which is not what we want. So I do want to do the length check, and then I want to do the other checks too. So the case where this will actually happen, where a length of 0 does return, is rare, but it is possible that a user who's logged in, gone through the permissions and stuff like that, and has just lost all of their group connections, will need to actually be sent to a permission denied screen. So I still need to do this, and that's fine. All right, cool. So what I can do here is, if user group results max permissions, I need to also equal 0, and task permissions equals 0, I need to return also here. So those are our escape conditions. And that should be it. It can run crop in user space as well, which has a nice benefit that you can now set the time. Ooh, nice. So yeah. All right, now I am going to the top of the screen. We've got the login bad request. I do believe, if memory serves me, there we go. HTTP request forbidden. Easy done. I think we're on line near 66. So return HTTP forbidden. Easy done. Alright. Easy done. And yeah, put in... The one reason why I'm not using a decorator here is this is only going to get used here. It's not something that will be used over and over and over again. However, that being said, with the save permission for a new one, I need to actually be... no, there'll be an extra step where I actually check the specific permissions. So, whenever you create a new scheduled objects, so let's open up with let's go with duck admin. I know a lot of you are like, light. So let's go localhost. Don't worry, I'm like that sometimes too. Let's go duck admin. I think that, and then what we want to do is we want to go scheduled objects in here. We should be able to schedule a new object. We've got object type of project and task, and that will extend in the near future. So it will suddenly become request for change will be in here too. So you can build up weekly or monthly sort of requests for changes where you would want to actually deploy an update, add a scheduled sort of time, all that kind of fun stuff. Update is you'd probably do that more frequently than that. And what's a really good example? A is an awesome tool, but it's currently in the state that it needs a lot of supervision. It's like a junior dev that has read a lot of documentation, knows a lot of design patterns. I've been said I found it tends to put things in the wrong abstract levels when doing simple tasks over complicated things. Often I'll say that. Yeah. Oh, we've just hit an ad break. So, yep. We'll continue on with that in a second. I'm here. Socks is also there. She's now behaving and calmed down. Before she was like meowing like there was no tomorrow when I started the stream. I was like, what the hell? Yes, I know, sweetie. You just missed me. Yeah, I wasn't here last night, so yeah, she hasn't seen me for 24 hours, and she's gonna attach herself to me today, or tonight, I should say. So yeah, I'm hoping I get some sleep. The other night, she woke me up a couple of times, so she would jump on top of me and just scream at the top of her lungs at me. So yeah, and the treats. All right, so. Yes, Socks, you haven't had these in a while. How do you know where to go? In your bed, sweetie. Oh, I'm just wondering if this... Sorry for those who get motion sickness. I do apologize. I should put that on the other display first. Alright, sweetie. Can you hop in your bed? In your bed? You know what to do. You used to do this all the time. Good girl. Alright. There we go. There we go. Oh, there we go. So we've got two more in here. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna put the empty packet on the floor. And welcome back, everyone! Alright, oops, wrong screen. There we go. Giving Socks some treats. There we go. And now she's going to cause trouble. Alright, going back into this. So, response forbidden, we'll be happy with that. So the max project permissions and the max task permissions come through. We're making sure all of that works. So, this is going to be extremely similar in the save functionality. There's going to be minor differences. So in the save, we're making sure the form works perfectly fine, which is all great and dandy. I'm going to paste that in. So this is checking user permission. So I'm just going to flag that is check user permission. So once again, we're getting all the, because this Oh, this is also limited down to the groups that the person put through. So we've got a couple of changes in here. We'll have the group ID in, and I don't think it's that. So if we scroll down, we'll have a look at down here. We've got group in all of this. Now, oh, that does pass through a group. All right. A group ID, it's a group object. If it was a group ID, that would be group underscore ID. But yeah, sorry, this is. Sorry, I'm struggling with my. I can't open up the freaking. Underneath the webcam is a thing which you open up so you can put it on top of the monitor. I can't open it up with one hand, and I can't reach it with the other. Alright, so, and I've just knocked everything around. Trust me to destroy stuff. So, we can essentially use the same thing here. So form group cleaned, and then we've got the group list. So I'm going to scroll up to the top. I'm just going to be like, alright, cool. So this will be group equals, and then we're going to do that. I don't know if this will work. We will test this. All good, Nocturnal. It was bound to happen anyway. Me either Socks will knock it off and then I'll have to do it, and yeah, you know. Alright, so we do need to filter for this. We still need the permissions coming out. We still need to check if that, and then this will change. We only need to actually do it once. And then what we need to do is this will be an F string, where we'll pass through what type of object it is. So, look up choice from key. And I think it'll just be this, but to lowercase. So, yeah. Where's my if statement? Ah, there it is. So I'm just going to paste that in, and I'm just going to do a lower out the front. Hang on, we're talking Python. Python string lowercase. I keep forgetting that. Keep forgetting it. Oh, it's just dot lower. Your string dot lower. All right. All right, cool. Sorry, I don't know why I thought it was had to be like that. All right, so that's done. That, and then we'll get the type, the object type, which will either be a task or a project. If it equals 0, we go forbidden. Now this isn't 0. This is actually less than or equal to 1. Because if they're read only, they can't create. Yep, they need to be 2 or more. Which means I've got to change this. So alert is 1. And is that like that? All right, so if they're read only, they don't have permission to, yeah, all right, sweet. So that's the changes. Those are the changes for this. And I'm happy with that being in here. All right, cool. And yeah, remember we're moving this to the API. As for the this one, I don't know why. Yeah, that's the new scheduled object. Yep. This is the list. Yeah, this lists everything. So they're just read only. User group results goes into username, max permission. There we go. Blah, blah, blah. Hang on a minute. Give me 2 seconds. Let's go schedule my scheduled objects. Or am I've broken something. No, all right. Oop, misclick there. All right, let's go back into here. Now that loads up pretty fast. Do I actually get the objects after the fact? I do. All right, so yeah, we'll let users get here. That is fine. A login will be perfectly fine. They'll get here. They just won't have that ability to touch that. And I don't know why if we go into scheduled objects for the read only. We don't have it there. It's only when they edit stuff. Cool. So they won't be able to edit. So the scheduled objects is fine. That's just an empty template. Scheduled object information. This is probably where we want to build one for the decorator. Might want to have that as a decorator or something. Probably doing to need that one a lot. These are for the ones above. They're probably not. Maybe this one definitely. If it's the same as above, because we are pushing through the scheduled object ID. So yeah, I did have a think about it, and I was like, these ones probably not. This one and this one, we probably will have the same decorator. Because yeah, we've got that. And yeah. I mean, I could put in an edge case where if it's... I could look at putting in an edge case. That should be too hard. We do have requests, but then I gotta do all the form stuff and... I'll have to think about it. Yeah. Okay, this one we definitely want to create it because we've got the object ID there. So under decorators, we've got the check user permissions. We're going to right hand click and we're going to add in another Python file, and we're going to go object scheduler permissions.py. We are going to grab this. We're just going to grab just that because boilerplate stuff. We're just going to paste it in. We'll change all of this. Functions is only used to check user permissions. All right. This one would be object if I can spell. User permissions. I should double check how I've. Yeah. Min permission level. Not needed. We know. Yeah, actually, no, we do need that. Sorry. All right. So object scheduler permissions. Sorry. If I should use check user permissions against scheduled objects, all right, cool. That's pretty easy sort of stuff. So we've got a decorator function. We've got the wraps, inner, this, so the request. We'll also have this come through. So we're just going to paste it in. We'll need args and quags. A lot of it looks like we already have, so that's perfectly fine. So we've got args and quags. All right, so we're not going to use the API on this particular thing. When we do the API, we're actually going to rewrite a lot of these permissions because we'll have specific checks for the API. We'll do all the CRUD for the API where essentially probably rewrite how NearBeach sort of interacts with itself because I haven't done that in a while. So yeah, we'll have a look at all the permission sets and be like, all right, cool. All of these calls are going to the API. We should have stuff that deals with the API permissions and stuff that deals with the front end sort of calls. Thank you very much, Ant-Man. So yeah, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. You know, in this sort of case, I'm going to leave that in there because it doesn't hurt. That's fine, that's the default. So, in here, we will have the scheduled object. And I'm just trying to remember with the scheduled object. We'll open up Studio because it's been a while since I've actually had a look at how it's structured. We'll have a look at this data. All right. So we've got the scheduled last run, date, scheduled run, number of repeats is active, frequency. In here, do we have object template ID, change user is deleted, date modified, date frequency, attribute, frequency is active, run count. I don't have the number of repeats. I don't have it if it's a task or not, do I? Object template ID. That's the name. No, I've got to have that data. Silly if I've done something stupid. Because we've got the scheduled object title. Is there two tables? Is there... Oh, there's a template table. Object template. There we go. Now I remember there was a template. So the idea being is that a template can be used in multiple different places. This is sort of building up for the request for change templates where you want to build up a request for change, have it saved as a template, and then you just reuse that template every single time you need to do a request for change. That's the same old sort of stuff. For example, if you're updating a particular service and it's following the exact same steps every single time, you'll create a template and then recreate. So that's something we're actually going towards. In here, we've got the object template ID, group ID, change user is deleted, and then no, we don't have it in here whatsoever. Damn it. Where did I put this data? Use active run count, number of repeats. I'm just going to search for object. Object template, I thought or did I open up the wrong table? Object template group. Yeah, I opened up the wrong one. Object template, here we go. We've got the object template. It's in JSON. All right. Ooh. just having a think at the moment. Because I'm going to fetch this data, I'm going to manipulate it and all that kind of stuff. I know the permission's going to do it. It's essentially touching the database a couple of times. I could... Yeah, I'm just... Yeah, I've got to pass that information through. Okay. And I didn't put that information, the object type, anywhere else, did I? No, I didn't. Didn't flat pack it out because I was like, I won't need it flat packed out because... Alright, I am going to remind myself how this actually works. So, we've got the object information, so the scheduled object information. We've opened up that page. We'll go into this particular one. We've got the template that is here. We've got the scheduled object results. So, we get... ID equals that, the value, so the scheduled object, object template, start date, frequency after shoot is active, number of repeats. And then check to make sure there is scheduled object result. If length of the scheduled object is, no object, is the first one. Yep, cool. Object templates, so we pull out that object template and the object template type. And we get the organizations get, so the object template first one, we got the template JSON. So open up this JSON. Oops. I'm just going to copy this. We are going to pass it in here. I'm going to make JSON look pretty. Oops. Paste it in. We've made it pretty. I'm just going to open up that so you guys can see. So in here we've got the object type. We've also got the object organization like that. So this is how we're navigating all of that. And the thing is, we're getting all this data and we're processing it, when in reality down here we should be checking for permissions. I don't want to do this processing twice because it is a little heavy, even though in reality the object scheduler should not be used like this as much. So having a little bit of a heavier permission check for these is going to be fine. You usually set up your schedules and forget about them, and you only come in to modify them maybe once every couple of weeks. So it's one of those things where I could potentially do all that work, but I've got the data here. I can just pass it through and check to see if the user has permission. And that's just a simple function. Because we can, all right, if I were to do this as a function, sorry, in my head, I'm doing a couple of name changes. And so def does user have access. All right, we're just doing false straight away. What we want to do is we want to pass in the username. Easy done. We want to pass through the object type. Easy done. We could... So this one will still be... Yeah, we can build on top of this. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to go is... we aren't in the class. So if not... And then we return forbidden, like so. And then up here, I'm going to paste that in. We'll go through this very quickly. So this will then become username. And then down here, we don't need to do that and don't need to do that. We just need to send back a boolean. So it's actually that. And at the end, we just get rid of that. So that's the first stage. In here, if does not have access. So in this sort of case, we have to think with access. So this will be greater than 1. And now, because we're changing it to that, it means they do have access if either one of those are true. So, yeah. Oh, socks. What are you doing? Ow. Alright. Problem solved. And now she sleeps out. Alright. So, does user have access? If not, does user have access? I will probably refactor a lot of this easily in the future, but for the moment, let's just see if this works. So we've done that, and then the next one is we want to pass through the object. So if object type is that, then we check for this. So if object type equals nothing, then we do that. Else, I'm just going to return true there for the moment. And then we go down here. Now the only difference is, oh, there are group requests. All right. Yeah, we'll need the group list up here. So we've got the object type. We'll have the group list. So that will be if the length of the group list is greater than 0. We'll have user group results equals user group results dot filter where the group is in group list. Like so. And then we check for that, and then we check for that. All right, cool. Probably overly complicating this. Okay, we've moved that. So that was pretty much the same. That will be the same. And there's this that's different. So I'm going to go up here. I'm just going to paste. We're just going to do that. And then what we want to do is we want to return this, but we want to flip all of this around. So if the user group, blah, 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 now that will be the object type. Is greater than 1. And that's it. All right. And if we go down here, so new schedule, we've got that in. Scheduled object save, we've got to put that in now. So if not does user have access, and then we've got to put in through request.user. This is where I forget what I put in there. So I'm just going to just copy that. We are going to go down to here. We are going to paste this in, and we're going to do that for reference. So that will be request.user. Then we've got the object type. That will be, in this sort of case, that will be, actually, that will be from the form. This will be nothing. So that's perfectly fine. And then we've got the group list will be an empty query set, and that will be fine. Okay, easy done. What's the time? All right. And then in here, we've got the username, we've got the object type, that will be the form sort of stuff. So that will be the form.cleanData, that's not the name, that will be the object type. And I do believe we just want to do that as a lower, easy done. Now, the group list, that will actually be something. So I'm going to bang these onto 3 separate lines, just so it looks a lot nicer. And then in here, we do that. All right. That will then be check user permissions. And then with the scheduled objects, that's perfectly fine. And then with this particular one, where we have the information itself, we've got to actually retrieve the information. So we go down here, we get the information, and there's us accessing it first. All right, cool. And then we do check user permissions here. Now we have the data. We go if not does user have access. I'm going to paste in that little thing for reference again. We've got request.user. We are going to do something like this. We are going to also do that. We're going to go object type. So this will be, oh, this is with the IDs now. Yes, socks. No socks. You don't have any more questions? Okay, socks. Let's go back over here. I don't know when I'm hitting that. So we got task, object title, start date, UUID. We don't actually have the groups in there. So if we go into here, that will actually be part of this table. So we need to get this information in there too. All right. So we've got object information, and then we've got the group results, group object filter, group name, and then we've got the template object group. This is going to need to be down further. I don't like this. This is actually rather messy. So yeah, in this sort of case, we just do it right here. We're essentially collecting all the data and then double checking that we've actually got permission at that particular point. But if we were to have this as decorator, we will be collecting the data, going, yeah, you got permission, and then collecting the data again. It's not efficient. Just doesn't, yeah. Alright, so that needs to be like that. And that will be returned forbidden. Alright, cool. What's the matter, Socks? Really? Meowser too. Say hi to everyone, Socks. Be like, hi. Alright, don't worry, sweetie. I'm almost finished with the stream. So, we've got the object type, which will be, if we actually scroll up, we saw it before. We can just grab this one line. We could just paste it in like this, and we can just be like, all right, cool, there's the object template, and then we've got the object type in here, and then we just need the object, the object groups, which I do believe we just did up here. Template group results. And then we've got the object template, and the values group ID, derivative ID flat equals true. Oh, that's a list. All right, group and level, user groups, object filter. I need to go through and refactor all of this. So yeah, socks, stop it. No. The good thing is, once we actually implement the API for all of this, we can really lock this down. And I might look at flat packing a few of the values and stuff like that. So, for example, the definitely this object type. Right. Alright, sucks, can you not? And then I'm just plugging it in, and we did this at the last minute. I'm not liking this. This is, I definitely don't like this. Oh. Well, I'm just going to borrow that. I know it's not going to work. Yeah, this ain't going to work. Alright, I'm just going to refresh. One, two, three. Oh, yep. All right, cool. Return, actually the response forbidden. There we go. That will fix that particular problem. I'm just going to refresh, stop and rerun. All right, now we're cooking. Yeah, I don't think this will work. Where's my browser? I think this will just absolutely fail. 403 forbidden. Oh, it doesn't take me to... Alright. That's fine. We do actually have a custom sort of forbidden page and stuff like that. This is... Alright, so this still works. Oops, that doesn't work. We've probably hit that. Yeah, that still works. I mean, it's working. I don't think this is good code, though. I need to go back and probably sit down, look at how I can refactor this into something that's better. Yeah, I'm just not happy with that. I know why it's set up like that. I know I had problems when I was building it up and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, all right. I'm trying to think how I want to actually move forward with this, because this is actually, yeah, we don't want someone to have access to this. All right, cool. I think I know what I want to do. Sorry, sucks. I need my keyboard. Yes, thank you. Kit flow, feature, start. And, all right, hang on. Remove static. All right, git status, git add. I'm just gonna put we didn't actually do the new file, so remove NearBeach, decorators, check user permissions, and then the object scheduler permissions. We didn't use that at all. We're just gonna remove it. Git status, git. I deleted that file. It's now wanting me to, all right, git add, git commit. All right, weird permission checks on object scheduler. All right, Edular, permission. Socks is in the way. All right, so git checkout, develop. Oh, I did that wrong. All right, actually, git checkout, develop, git pull. What we're going to do is we're going to at least put down a lockdown in here. So, going from the very, very top, we know that's an internal function. We know this is needing this. This is needing this. This is needing this. That's already got that. That's already got that. And we're fine. So what I'm going to do, git status, I should git add, git commit, applying basic login rules for the scheduler. All right, cool, git push. I'm going to need to sit down and have a thorough sort of session with the object scheduler and be like, how can I apply permission checks on here? Yeah, I'm just gonna have to do that. Let's write some notes. All right, in here, what we've got is to progress with this particular, with setting up the object scheduler will need to go and refactor how the object scheduler is set up. Now, that being said, If we go into localhost, I'm making sure we're logged in. Yes, I am. Let's go into admin. Let's go into permission sets. What a bunch of stuff in here. And what we could do, actually, I should go to the front end and actually show you guys because it looks so much better. So let's go into here, let's go admin, let's go straight into permission sets. So permission sets is what you set up. They're essentially sort of a template of how you want the permissions to look at certain levels. So in this sort of case, we've got editor only, full permissions and stuff like that. But you can have, for example, users who only have access to creating tasks and probably reading projects and nothing else. We're giving you that ability. So going into here, we've got all the administration sort of stuff, easy done. We've got the customers and organizations. So we've got customers and organizations. So you might actually lock that down so people could read only the customers and so forth like that. You could potentially lock that down so they don't have any permission for that. They could still see the customer on the ticket, but they might not be able to get the information. We'll figure that out. The object permissions, we've got Kanban board, Kanban cards, so they might actually have, I think, read-only permissions for the Kanban board or something like that, so they can't create any Kanban boards or edit the Kanban boards. However, the cards they can. You got projects, tasks, requests for change, and requirements in there. And then down here we've got the grants uploadability, grants notes on that and so forth like that. And then we've got a couple of MISC. Now originally we did have the ability to import bugs from Bugzilla. However, we've during the rewrite we've removed that functionality, and we've got configured tags. We might put something in here for the scheduler, and the reason being is I think it would be nice to put separate that out and be like, all right, cool, the person has the ability to create scheduled objects and stuff like that. They should have the ability to, create projects and tasks through that method. And I think that's probably how we're going to solve this problem. And then it becomes just simple permissions, and then we're like, all right, cool, this is a scheduler. And then those who, you're kind of restricting it to those who are given that permission. If that makes sense. So yeah, and Scotty B, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. I kind of like this idea. I think we should be looking at the scheduler as a particular task in NearBeach, and that's separated from the objects. So very much like configuring bug clients and configuring the tags, that in itself should be its own sort of permission. Let's write that in. So to progress with this task, or bug, we'll need to set up a new permission for the scheduler. I will just go over here. I will just we'll just click a bunch of random sort of buttons and bring up a new tab. We're going to take a screenshot of that. We're just going to copy that. We're going to go back over here. We're going to hit like this and wait for it to upload. And then what we're going to do is very similar to the MISC permissions. The scheduler section should be looked at as a separate entity. All right. If a person has the permissions to create any scheduled task / project, they should have that permission. And if someone who has the ability to create / edit projects / tasks but does not have permission to the scheduler, they should not be able to schedule any projects or tasks. All right, cool. So we're now thinking about this in a different way. I think this is probably a better solution. I should have just sat down at the start of this stream and thought of that instead of jumping in and doing all the stuff. It would have been a lot nicer. But oh well, these things happen. Sometimes you jump in head first, you do a bunch of horrible code, and then you're like, you know what? No, I can do this better. And you sit back and you're like, yeah, let's not do that. Let's actually do this properly and do this better. So yeah, sometimes it happens. All right, so I'm probably going to tackle that next stream. All of this should, yeah, go back to normal. I'm going to do a push tonight. I do believe, if I go back to NearBeach and NearBeach, wow, that's taking up ages. Wow. All right, so we've got objects. I'm going to just delete that branch. I'll do it later. I'm going to clean up some of these branches anyway. Development had a push 7 minutes ago. Let's do a compare. I don't think there's much. No. There's a bit of swagger and all that kind of stuff. All right, yeah, no, I can see this. Where did I get with the swagger stuff? I think I was happy with the swagger stuff. Okay, quick fix Kanban cards. Did I need to do any changes? So I'm just double checking if there's any JavaScript changes. Okay. Cool. Means it's all just back-end code that has changed. So yeah, let's go through this very, very quickly. Let's just do this. Let's go fixes. So straight off the bat, we've got creation of all right, so that's quick fix to the Kanban with link has. All right, cool. I can't. Give me the commit note. Thank you. All right. Is there a quick way of doing this again? No, not here. All right, not a problem. Just doing develop to main. Yep. Not much in there, and then we've got documentation, update to the Swagger documentation. What else do we have? Oh yeah, we do have review playing minimum. Oh well. I can't spell. Alright, cool. Applying minimum permissions to the signature object. Alright, cool. What else was fixed? Fixed to Docker cron job. So luckily, the permissions wouldn't have done anything wrong. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So create pull request. I really should be doing the Python 3 manage test. I think this will just run perfectly fine. I haven't looked at Circle CI for a bit. Oh, they're probably breaking stuff. Oh God, thought, the horror. I know I've broken something. coming soon. Test execution optimization. Oh no, I haven't. All right, look at that. I'm too proud of myself. All right, I'm a lot happier. End-to-end tests. So the front-end tests and all that kind of stuff won't change. So I'm not running them because we haven't made any JavaScript changes or anything like that. So yeah, I'm fine with that. So let's do a push. Let's jump ahead. I'm pretty much all happy with that. I'm just gonna bypass the rules and merge. I'm gonna confirm. Easy, done. What we want to do is we want to edit this. I forgot to actually copy it, cancel all of that. I want to jump out of here. Now we are back in main. Yes. So we want to do a new release. This is pretty exciting, this particular one. So 0.30.90. There we go. We're 10 away from 100 patches. The furthest we've ever gone. This is a pre-release. Yep. So I'm happy with all of that. I'm going to publish that release. I should, in half an hour, update my environment to that. So yeah. Anyway, I'm getting a bit exhausted. Let's actually find someone else to raid. So let's go to Twitch. I've also got to do my exercises for my shoulder. Tim birthday. All right, let's go raid Tim. All right. Oh, I can use the raid channel thing now, can't I? I can't type him in. Search and filter. Let's go like that. Let's start the raid. It's been a while since I've used that. Okay. All right, cool, sweet. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for coming tonight. It has been wonderful. We didn't get much done. We kind of wrote terrible code. I will own up to that. It was just terrible. I will definitely need to actually sit down and review the scheduler, but I think actually adding on a permission at the scheduler for the scheduler itself is the smart thing to do. So I'm going to do that hopefully next stream. So yeah, anyway, we should go on and raid. So yeah, thank you very much. And thank you very much for those who are on YouTube. Sadly, you can't join our raid, but don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm hoping to see you next time. So yeah, thank you.